Welcome to Thinner Peace in Menopause and Beyond. This is Dr. Deb Butler, Master Life and Weight Coach, and as always, your coach. Today is episode number 112, and today I'm talking to you about developing a trusting relationship with yourself. Because here's what I know for sure. I think you trust yourself around other people and your commitments to other people. But what I want to talk about in this episode is how to learn how to trust yourself when it comes to your relationship with you. Stay tuned. Hey, all my dear friends, how are you today? I'm doing a few episodes in my podcast at a time today, and so it's a rainy, beautiful day here in St. Louis. Green, but rainy. And I'm getting ready to go to Dallas, Texas, because I'm going to be teaching for the Life Coach School, and Brooke Castillo, my mentor, and be able to teach new coaches all the stuff that I teach you. That is also one of my passions, and I'm so excited to be going. So I'm getting a lot of these podcasts recorded ahead of time. So when I'm gone, you still will be able to learn and listen to all of my wisdom. But really, today what I want to talk to you about, which I think is really important, I was having a session with one of my amazing, brilliant clients, runs a company, has this wonderful, wonderful music school. She's just unbelievable, really, in all the things that she does. She is one busy, busy woman. But you know what? Guess where her trouble lies? Her trouble lies in being able to take care of herself and honor her own commitments to herself. Now, she is brilliant. She is big in her own field, I am sure. And I know that when she has clients, and she had this big seminar that she put on this past week that was inviting people from all over the world that she does on a yearly basis. And she was really excited about it, but there was a lot of work to be done and there was a lot of preparation to be done. And what we talked about today, which is what I want to talk to you about today, is that all of that went through without a hitch, because what she knows for sure is she is going to do whatever it takes for her clients, for her employees, for anybody that works for her, not to mention her family and her husband. But one of the things that we were talking about, and one of the things that she's working on with me, is being able to honor her own commitments to herself. So for those of you who don't know, I work a lot with women with over drinking just as much as overeating. And seriously, they're both very much the same type of problem, because it all exists in the mind with a bunch of thought errors that creates a lot of urges. And that is what she's working on. And one of the things that she's working on is either if she's drinking, which sometimes she does, she has what we call a drinking plan. And it's up to her to be able to do what she says she's going to do. Now, this is what we've talked about. Over the last few weeks, there are times when she sticks to her plan, and there are times when she doesn't. There are times when she sticks to what we call a protocol, which is the way that she has decided to eat, and sometimes she doesn't. And of course, this happens with a lot of my clients. But this is what she and I discussed today, and this is something that I really want you to think about. When you tell yourself that you're going to do something for yourself, can you trust yourself that you'll do it? This is what she and I learned today, is that she absolutely cannot trust herself with herself about commitments that she makes for herself, because she does not honor those commitments with herself. That's what we just figured out today. Are you like that, where you tell yourself you're going to do something and then you don't? Do you tell yourself something like tomorrow you're going to go out and you're going to work out, and then tomorrow comes And then when it's time to work out, you figured out you have something else to do or you're too tired. All of that means is that you're not honoring that own commitment to yourself. Now stay with me here, because think about this. If you have kids or if you have grandkids or if you're working in a company or if you work with clients, do you show up when you tell them you're going to be there at a certain time? I know. The answer is probably 96% yes. Do you if you say you're going to pick your kids up from school, do you show up and pick them up from school? My guess is you do. If you tell somebody that you want to meet them for an appointment, do you show up at the time of the appointment? My guess is yes. Now, what do you do about yourself when you make an appointment with yourself? Or when you tell yourself you're going to do something for yourself? Like, for instance, with food journals, most of my clients need to do food journals that they send to me, just like the food journals that I have in my companion podcast workbook that, of course, you can get at any time by going to drdebbutler.com/change. And that's my little companion book that you can get. And it has food journals in it. I want my clients to do food journals. And if you're following my podcast, I want you to do food journals, not so much to see what you're eating, but to see why you're eating. Are you eating within the hunger scale? Are you fuel eating most of the time? Now, if you have a commitment to yourself that you want to be fuel eating 90% of the time, if you have a commitment to yourself that you're going to journal every day, do you do that? Now, what I want you to see is that you need to say yes to yourself and then follow through as if you were the very most important person to you. When you don't follow through with your own commitments, basically what you're insinuating to yourself, you're not that important. And you know what happens with that type of a relationship with yourself? Is you stop trusting yourself. You stop having confidence in yourself. What do most women want who want to work with me? They want to have trust in themselves around any food, in any situation, and they want to have confidence in themselves around any food and any situation. And it all starts, the only way to have that is to know that when you tell yourself something, you follow through with it. Now, one of the things, I just did a podcast with one of my clients, number 111. And when I did that podcast with Shauna, one of the things that she said is that what really helped her is when she realized she could trust herself to do what she said she was going to do, that she couldn't do that before. And once she learned how to do that, she learned how to have trust in herself. If you're wanting to have trust in yourself, then the way that that begins is by when you tell yourself something, you follow through with it. So number one, make sure it's something that you actually want and are willing to do. Because that's one of the things Shauna said, is she realized that she would tell herself to do things for herself when she knew she wasn't going to do it. I bet you're like that too. So only commit to yourself when you know without a doubt that you're going to do it. Now, here is the catch. If you tell yourself you're going to do something and you know you're not, maybe you're making it too hard for yourself. And that's when I come in with one of my tools, which is called the minimums. And you might have heard this before. I did it on a podcast maybe 80 episodes ago. But I called it my minimums, and I use my minimums with exercise. And the reason that I do that is because I want you to learn to be able to trust yourself around moving your body. But this can be applied to anything. But in exercise, the way I explain it to my clients, and this is what we did with Shauna in the podcast I did before this, is that she started making commitments to herself around moving her body. But she made the commitment so easy, she knew she could do it. So if she decided that she was going to walk 3 times a week, normally what she would say is it has to be at least an hour. So she would make an hour commitment to herself and then she wouldn't do it. So we know an hour is too long. So what I suggested to her is that she started with 10 minutes 3 times a week. And she says, well, that's too easy. And what is it going to do? And I said to her, and this is what I would say to you, what it will do is it will start helping you trust yourself that when you tell yourself you're going to do something, you do it. And if all it takes is 10 minutes and you do it every single time, number one, what you might find out is you might do more. And number two, what you will definitely find out is you did what you said you're going to do. And as you build trust in yourself, you can depend on yourself even more. So that's what I want you to think about this week when we're talking about trust. You know, if you want to lose a lot of weight, it starts with being able to trust yourself. If you say you want to do food journals, maybe you don't want to start with 7. Usually I'll start with my clients and I'll say, well, how many do you think you can do? Maybe it's just 3. But if you do 3 food journals, you commit to it, you do it, we discuss it, you have honored your commitment to yourself. If you say to yourself, I'm going to go out and I'm going to walk 3 times this week for 10 minutes, you put it on your calendar, and you do it, you have just honored a commitment to yourself and you have built up your confidence in yourself and you have given yourself the gift of trust. And I think that's something all of you need and want. And sometimes you're setting your expectations too high and you can't reach them. And then you lose trust and confidence in yourself because of your own thinking. So this is what I want to suggest to you this week. I want you to start out small, but I want you to do it no matter what. I want you to make it so easy you can't not do it. That's what Shauna did. And she said it was one of the things that made all the difference in everything that she did with me, is when she knew that she could begin to trust herself. I know you need that too. So this week, make a minimum about how much you want to move your body. Maybe just make it 10 minutes 3 times a week, but do it. Or maybe you're going to decide that you're going to start food journals this week. But maybe 7 is too much. Like, when you think it, you already know you're saying, I'll never do that. Well, maybe make it less. And then when it feels like it's really easy, that will be your commitment. And I promise you, if you start honoring these small commitments to yourself, you will build on it. And you will end up having more trust and confidence in yourself for bigger things. That's my advice to you today, but I couldn't stop this podcast without first saying to you, trust and confidence is what you need to do anything in your life. Trust and confidence are feelings that you have, and they come from your own thoughts. And your thoughts need to be that I've got my own back, and that whatever I say I'm going to do for myself, I'm going to do it. That I will never give up on myself, that I'll do whatever it takes. Those kind of thoughts create those kind of feelings. And make sure that you follow through, because it will be the biggest gift that you could ever give yourself. So until next week, there's only one other thing that I ask of you. Well, actually, there's 2 other things that I ask of you. One is, if you want help applying this, you can talk to me. Just go to drdebbutler.com/work with me and do a mini session with me and see if I can't help you move to that next step. And of course, the other thing is, I want you to be very, very kind to yourself. See you next week. Bye-bye.
If you're ready to take your eating issues to another higher, more improved level, well, it's time to talk to my wife, Dr. Deborah. She's helped hundreds and thousands of people just visit drdebbutler.com/work with me. You'll get a free consultation with Dr. Deb and find out if coaching and talking to my wife is a solution to your struggles.